Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most unexpected power shifts in the Middle East, how the Houthis of Yemen, once dismissed as a small local force, have managed to force Israel into what many experts call its costliest mistake. This isn't just a story of missiles and drones, it is a story of underestimation, of resilience, of how the smallest actor on the stage can change the performance of the entire play. We are going to review this situation as if we are reviewing a powerful machine, exploring the exterior, the interior, the performance, the safety features, the unique selling points, the price, and finally the conclusion. And as we go through this, you'll see why this unexpected development has shaken Israel, forced new strategies, and sent shockwaves across the region and beyond. From the outside, the Houthis look simple. Yemen is one of the poorest countries in the Arab world, long divided by internal struggles, burdened by famine, and ravaged by years of civil war. If you just glance at the exterior, the Houthis look like guerrilla fighters armed with outdated rifles and pickup trucks. But that outer shell hides something far more significant. Over years of war, they have gained experience, honed strategies, and acquired weapons that allow them to project power far beyond Yemen's borders. They may look ragged, but this exterior is armored with endurance, determination, and survival instincts. The harsh mountains of Yemen, the deserts, the blockades, the constant bombings, none of it destroyed them. Instead, it hardened them, just like steel forged in fire. And that hardened exterior is what now allows them to stand tall against far more powerful adversaries. Inside, the Houthis are held together by ideology and unity. Unlike armies that rely purely on money or equipment, the Houthis' core strength comes from belief. Their interior is built on a sense of divine mission, local support, and the conviction that they are defending their land against outside aggression. This makes their interior incredibly resilient. They don't collapse under pressure because their motivation is not material wealth or short-term gain. Their soldiers are not fighting just for paychecks. They are fighting for survival, for faith, and for dignity. That interior, though invisible from the outside, is what fuels their persistence. It allows them to keep going after years of bombardment and to keep innovating despite being cut off from much of the world. And when we talk about performance, this is where the Houthis shock everyone. Their ability to launch drones and missiles across hundreds and sometimes even over 1,000 kilometers has rewritten the script of Middle Eastern warfare. In military performance terms, they punch far above their weight. With weapons that cost a fraction of Israel's interceptors, they have forced one of the most advanced militaries in the world to spend billions of dollars defending itself. A single Houthi drone might cost a few $1,000s to assemble. An Israeli interceptor costs anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000, sometimes more. Every exchange is an economic victory for the Houthis, because they can keep producing low-cost weapons while Israel bleeds financially every time it fires to stop them. Performance is not just about destruction, it is about efficiency, and in this metric, the Houthis have been highly effective. Another performance element is their accuracy. Early on, their strikes were seen as crude, often missing targets or causing limited damage. But as the years passed, their performance improved. They struck Saudi oil facilities with surprising precision. They hit airports, military bases, and energy infrastructure. When they began to extend this performance toward Israel, the message was clear. No target is out of reach. Even if interception prevents some damage, the mere fact that they can threaten and occasionally break through proves their performance capacity. And that performance is magnified by psychology. For Israel, a state that has built its identity around strong defense, the knowledge that missiles from Yemen can reach its cities or ports is a major psychological shock. When we think about safety features, it may sound odd in the context of a militant movement, but the Houthis have designed their survival mechanisms carefully. Their safety is not in armor plating or reinforced vehicles, it is in mobility, concealment, and unpredictability. They launch from hidden sites, often moving quickly to avoid counterstrikes. They use Yemen's rugged geography to shield their equipment and forces. They rely on secrecy, blending into civilian areas, making it difficult for airstrikes to isolate them without collateral damage. And their biggest safety feature is unpredictability. A drone that hugs the ground and takes a winding path can sometimes slip past billion-dollar radar systems. A missile launched at an unexpected time forces Israel to stay constantly alert. This unpredictability is a kind of protection, ensuring that even with less advanced equipment, they still survive and strike again. The unique selling points of the Houthis explain why they matter so much in today's conflict. Their first unique trait is asymmetrical efficiency, turning small investments into big impacts. The second is geographic leverage. By controlling territory near the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, they sit beside one of the world's most critical shipping routes. They can threaten global trade, disrupt oil flows, and draw international attention with relatively small actions. Their third unique selling point is endurance. Most movements would have collapsed under the weight of years of bombing, blockade, and famine. The Houthis not only endured, but became stronger, showing the world that they are not a temporary phenomenon, but a long-term actor in the region. And the fourth is adaptability. Each strike, whether successful or intercepted, teaches them lessons. They adapt quickly, improving designs, adjusting tactics, and finding new ways to challenge superior enemies. These unique qualities combine to make them far more dangerous than their size suggests. Now let's focus on the price Israel is paying, because this is where the phrase costliest mistake becomes clear. Israel initially ignored Yemen, thinking the Houthis were too poor, too far away, and too weak to matter. That miscalculation is now costing billions. Each interception drains the defense budget. Each attack disrupts trade routes, raising shipping costs and insurance premiums. Ports and energy infrastructure must be reinforced and protected, costing even more. The global economy feels ripples, but Israel shoulders the political and financial burden of being on the front lines. The psychological price is enormous as well. Israel's identity is tied to its promise of safety and security for its citizens. The Iron Dome and other defense systems were supposed to guarantee that no external actor could reach its population. But when the Houthis launch missiles that bypass defenses or force expensive interceptions, that sense of invulnerability cracks. Citizens feel less safe. Confidence in government assurances weakens. Political debates become fiercer, with opposition groups criticizing leadership for being unprepared. The Houthis, by merely proving they can threaten Israel, have extracted a price in fear and uncertainty that no budget can easily repair. The political price extends beyond borders. Allies like the United States and European nations now see Israel entangled in a conflict that stretches into the Red Sea and Yemen. Protecting shipping lanes becomes a shared concern. Israel's partners must commit resources, and they question whether Israel miscalculated by ignoring Yemen for so long. Regionally, other groups take note. Hezbollah, Hamas, and others watch carefully, realizing that if the Houthis can drain Israel with low-cost weapons, similar tactics can work elsewhere. This ripple effect makes Israel's mistake even more costly, because it inspires imitation and emboldens enemies. The conclusion from this is not just that Israel underestimated Yemen, but that Israel misjudged the very nature of modern conflict. Warfare today is no longer dominated purely by tanks, jets, and billion-dollar systems. It is about creativity, resilience, and adaptability. The Houthis embody this lesson. Israel, with its focus on high-tech solutions, assumed that small actors could be ignored or contained. But by ignoring Yemen, it allowed a small actor to grow into a disruptive power. The costliest mistake is therefore strategic blindness, and correcting it will require not only military adaptation, but also political humility. To truly appreciate the scale of this mistake, we need to look at history. For decades, Yemen was treated as a backwater. Even during the civil war that erupted in 2015, international attention focused more on Saudi Arabia, Iran, or Syria. Israel saw Yemen as distant, irrelevant to its immediate security. But in reality, Yemen's position by the Red Sea made it strategically vital. The Houthis recognized this before Israel did. By building capacity to strike ships and ports, they turned their geographic disadvantage into leverage. The historical oversight of Yemen's position now costs Israel dearly. Performance examples make this even clearer. When Houthi drones struck Saudi Aramco oil facilities in 2019, it was a wake-up call for the region. If Saudi Arabia's multi-billion-dollar defenses could be bypassed, then Israel's could be as well. And when the Houthis later extended strikes toward Eilat and other Israeli targets, that theory became reality. Israel's air defenses intercepted some, but not all. Even those intercepted still imposed massive costs. The psychological shock of alarms sounding, civilians rushing to shelters, and ports being threatened is in itself a victory for the Houthis. From a technological perspective, the Houthis also highlight a new reality. Technology is no longer monopolized by states. With relatively small investments, groups can access drone designs, modify missiles, and even build local industries to support warfare. Israel's costliest mistake was assuming that its high-tech advantage was permanent. But in today's interconnected world, even isolated groups can acquire or build enough technology to challenge advanced militaries. This shift in technological balance means that Israel's security strategy must evolve, but doing so costs time and money. The endurance of the Houthis is another layer of the price Israel pays. Normally, after years of bombing and blockade, a group would collapse, making victory cheaper. But the Houthis survived. Every year they continue fighting. The cost to Israel increases. Each year forces Israel to commit more resources to monitor, intercept, and counter. The longer this endurance lasts, the heavier the burden becomes. This is a war of patience, and the Houthis have shown they have plenty of it. There is also a symbolic price. Israel's enemies now see that it can be challenged from directions once thought impossible. Rockets from Gaza, missiles from Lebanon, and now drones from Yemen. Each new front stretches Israel's defenses thinner. The symbolism is powerful. Israel, once believed to be impenetrable, is now under pressure from multiple directions at once. This weakens deterrence, because adversaries believe Israel can be overwhelmed through persistence and coordination. All of this points to a larger conclusion. Israel's costliest mistake was not simply underestimating the Houthis, but underestimating the era of asymmetric warfare. In this era, the smallest force can impose the greatest burden, the poorest country can challenge the richest, and the most unexpected player can rewrite the rules of the game. The Houthis are proof of this, and Israel, like many advanced states, is paying the price for learning this lesson too late. As this continues, the global consequences will only grow. Trade disruptions raise oil prices and shipping costs worldwide. Insurance premiums skyrocket for ships passing the Red Sea. Global markets react to uncertainty in the Middle East, and behind it all stands a group from Yemen that many once ignored. This is why analysts now say that underestimating the Houthis is not just Israel's costliest mistake, but one of the region's most important turning points in decades. The review, therefore, is complete. The exterior is rugged but hardened. The interior is unified by belief. The performance is efficient and disruptive. The safety features are invisibility and unpredictability. The unique selling points are asymmetry, geography, endurance, and adaptability. The price is financial, psychological, political, and strategic. And the conclusion is clear. By ignoring Yemen, Israel made its costliest mistake, one that will echo for years to come.